For me, there's miniguns that bring up a sense of nostalgia that when I get my hands on them, it just reminds me of a time, usually when I had that gun a long time ago. These are guns that I loved, and maybe they didn't make them anymore, and you finally see one, you're like, oh, I forgot all about that gun and how much I love it. And there was one particular carry gun that was really always one of my all-time favorites. When I first started making videos, it always made my top 10 lists of best carry guns, but then it was discontinued and other things happened and new guns came and replacements came and they struggled, and and I finally came across this gun again. I stumbled across one down in the Ozarks and I just had to pick it up. Now, before I get into which one it is, I do want to take a moment and thank our sponsor, ES Power Drink, because what they are doing, putting Trinidad scorpion peppers in this delicious lemon green tea drink, is what it's doing is it's filled with capsaicin. And what that's going to do is it's going to heat your body up. And, when you work out, the reason, even if you're tired or exhausted, and when you work out, suddenly you feel great. And a lot of that has to do with just your body temperature going up. Well, this just does it, just putting one of those things down. And then it's going to give you a tremendous amount of energy. I can't eat a Trinidad scorpion pepper at all. So reaping the health benefits in this drink is tremendous. And that's why I am always faithful to ES Power Drink. That link is below. All right, so what are we getting at? Well, one of my all-time favorite carry guns for many reasons. And a lot of times when I say this gun, a lot of people are like, I don't even know what that gun is the SIG P250. Now, the thing about the P250 is it's the precursor to the SIG P320. 320 is one of the most popular pistols in the world. It's our US military sidearm. I mean, goodness gracious, the P320 has taken over this world unlike any other pistol other than Glock. And 1911s, really, that's, those are three that are dominating the industry right now and have for a while. But the 250 was before the 320. And here's what I don't like the 320. I've owned 3 320s and I got rid of all of them. And a lot of it had to do with the drop issue, which I know they say they fixed and blah, blah, blah. But then even then, they just seem to go off in police holsters. And it kind of just left a little keep away sign on for me personally. And I know obviously millions of y'all love the P320, so that's just me personally. But even before that, I like the 250 better for a couple reasons. Number one, and this is the biggest one, the P250 is double action only. And every shot, double action only. It is, to date, the best double action trigger I have ever felt in my life. Better than a Colt Python. You just put any double action trigger out there, it's a better double action trigger. It's light, it's smooth as silk. It just is the best double action trigger out there. And I know you'll be like, no, it's not, mine's better. Well, have you tried it? If you haven't tried it, you can't say. And obviously I haven't tried every single double action trigger out there, but it's the best one I have ever felt. Ever. Never felt a better one. And I like a double action. It's almost like shooting a revolver. There's no manual safety, no need for it. I believe the big problem with the P320, the drop issue, and it's going off in people's holsters. Number one, it's a striker-fired pistol without a manual safety. It doesn't take much to get that thing to go off, whereas in the P250, same gun, just different trigger system is all the only difference between the 320 and the 250. The slide's got a couple extra cuts on it, but it's the same gun. It is literally the same gun as the P320. But I think it's a by far superior gun, and I haven't shot one in a long time. But I was down at the Ozarks, And I stumbled across the subcompact, which is always my favorite. My favorite guns of any kind are going to be carry guns always. And it happened to be a 40 Smith & Wesson, which I generally am not a big fan of 40 Smith & Wessons unless it's going to play a certain role, which is this is going to be my walking around the woods gun. It's going to be my traveling to the West Coast gun because it's, 10 rounds only. I mean, I think having a 40 caliber double action every shot, no manual safety, pretty fantastic, man. It's something about shooting this. Now here's what I'm going to say about shooting it as well is all the P250s and all the 320s I've ever owned have been 9mm. This is the first 40 in that type of firearm that I've ever owned. I've owned a lot of other 40 caliber pistols, but not the SIG P250 or 320. Those all 9mm. And it didn't feel like you were shooting a 40. I like a 40 because it's really a 10mm short. A lot of people don't like 40, but they like 10mm, and that never made sense to me because it's just a 10mm short. It's smoother than a 10mm. And a lot of people say, oh, it's just too snappy. But I think it's the guns themselves. Because this 250, I could have shot thousands of rounds, and at no point would I think, oh, this is hurting my hand, or it's a little snap, like at all. So smooth, just incredible. And between that, how smooth it was to shoot a 40 in such a small gun, and the trigger was just really, it brought back nostalgia for me. It really kind of was like finding an old friend that you haven't seen in a long time, that you finally get to sit down and hang out and talk to. It was really kind of how it felt. It's so smooth for a 40. Man, just loving this, loving it. And, I will, on a side note, say that originally I was getting a walking around the woods gun, and it was a 10mm in the Glock carry size, or subcompact. I can't remember what they call that one, but the 10mm subcompact Glock. And I didn't like shooting it. I shot it once, and I thought, I don't like shooting this. This is the exact same size gun, and having it in a 40 is just, it's just exceptional. So, I know it's kind of a strange video, totally discontinued gun, replaced by the 320. I wish they'd make this 250 again. That trigger is just, I could shoot that gun all day long. Just like if I ran into a good old friend that I haven't seen in a long time, I could hang out with that person all day long. It's the same idea. Just loving this thing. Gonna carry the heck out of it too, by the way. As I travel around, this is definitely gonna be my gun, going into places like Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Oregon, Washington, California, guns to have on you. But for me, perfect. So there you go, man. Just love running into that P250. I remember when I put it out in the beginning, I'd say a lot of things, but it's about 8-9 years ago when I was first making videos. I'd say a lot about the P250, and people that had them, they really love them, really love them. Never really heard of anybody that's owned a 250 that didn't love the heck out of it, and also agree, best double action trigger out there. It really is. If you disagree, my guess is you haven't tried one. So there you go. Any thoughts or insight on this? Definitely put that below. Again, don't forget to check out the ES Power Drink. I'm going to add, they put it in the K-Cups, which make them a little more affordable. All that link is below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. So never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.